Experienced, trusted. This is East Texas Live.
Good morning. I'm Corinne Benandy, and thank you very much for joining us here on East Texas Live. It's 11 a.m., and we begin this morning with breaking news from Tyler. The all clear has been given by first responders after the North Park Medical Plaza building at CHRISTUS Trinity Mother Frances Hospital was evacuated. First responders say a suspicious object was found in one of the upper floors this morning, and we have a crew out there live in the field, and we're going to hear a little bit more about the latest and what's going on. We're going to toss there now.
We'll do some more investigating to try to determine what it was and why it was there, and then we'll let you know.
Paul,
yes, sir.
I don't know if I heard wrong there. I knew it was 5 early. You said it was 5 late. But at some point, I thought you said 4.
Yeah. So the initial, once we put eyes on it, there's different procedures depending on what we know when we come into an incident like that. There was no threat towards the hospital for one, and so the device itself, or the object itself, some sort of tool or instrument, was actually on the 5th floor in one of the hallways in the corridor. This building, of course, is constructed, it's concrete. We went ahead and evacuated the 5th floor above, or the 6th floor above, I'm sorry. The object's on the 5th. We evacuated the floor above and below. Later on, as we saw we were bringing the bomb squad out to take a look at it, for the most part, the rest of the hospital was, or the rest of this building, North Park, was evacuated as well. And it worked very well as far as them getting their folks out and into other buildings.
Y'all believe it to be a medical device. Y'all just don't know the name.
It is some sort of tool or instrument, some sort of spring-loaded type instrument. And I don't want you to read into that it was some sort of weapon. It wasn't. But from an X-ray standpoint, what it looked like on X-ray was a bit concerning early on until we were able to really X-ray the entire object. It was an instrument housed within a plastic container, and so unusual where it was, but also the device itself, or the object itself, instrument, whatever it is, was a bit concerning early on with the X-rays. But that's why we got these guys out here, to be able to look at all parts of it. And there's certain things they're looking for. Once we identified those were not there, then we went ahead and opened it up. And again, hopefully I'll be able to put a name to whatever that is. But there's no harm. Nothing about the device. No one was in any danger from it at any point in time for that. So that's a good thing.
Just one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Last bomb threat I remember years ago, they had to get somebody from Marksville out here.
Correct.
Tyler does have a team now.
We do, and thankfully because of that, we're getting to wrap up right now instead of a few hours from now. On a bomb threat, we don't necessarily deploy them. It's only when we have objects and things like that warrant the need to look closer at it. But we do, in the past, we have had to reach out to other departments in the Metroplex and even out of state to come in and do what our personnel did here. 2.5 to 3 years ago, we did start the process for standing up a regional team that we oversee here in the city of Tyler. It is a regional team, so the work that they did here today, there's a lot of technical equipment and a lot of technical knowledge and a lot of training that the individuals assigned to that unit have to continue to do. So they're very, very competent in what they're looking at and what they're looking for and how to utilize that equipment. And so that process took a year and a half just to get the approvals to do that. But we do have an active team here in Tyler that deploys throughout the region. So we were able to get them here very quickly for this. And thankfully, aside from X-raying and determining that the object was harmless, thankfully we didn't have to utilize any more equipment. And again, later on, when we're able to find out why it was there and what it was, a lot of times in those situations there's a perfectly harmless explanation. but we'll find out on that. We'll continue to look at that and find out who put it there and why it was there, and then as we get that information, we'll chase it. We'll follow up our press release on that to let you guys know.
And do you have anything to say to the people of Tyler who, may receive calls or are concerned about families this year?
Right. Well, when you have that many people standing outside, I'm sure the word got out, and we wanted to make sure that the message was clear of what it was and what it wasn't. At the point in time, we weren't sure, which is why we opt to go on the safe side and get people away until we can determine what it is. We have procedures. You saw Tyler Fire out here. You saw Tyler Police out here working in conjunction on that. The fact that this was not a threat, this didn't initiate from a threat, that weighs in heavily too as far as some of the decisions that are made. But the hospital staff here, they have emergency policies for a number of emergencies that they might experience at the hospital. About anything you can think of, whether it be weather-related or something like this. And so from my vantage point, I'm sure they'll look at that, but from my vantage point, evacuating in an orderly manner to where no one gets hurt, that number of people out of that big of a building, it seemed to go well. There was not a lot of chaos or anything down here where the operations, and that's a good thing. So I think they did great in communicating with their employees there, and again, thankfully we've got these guys with the fire department bomb team that were able to get here in a matter of 30 minutes instead of 3 hours, to where we're able to go ahead and put this incident to rest, and thankfully there were no injuries.
Good.
Y'all good? All right.
As soon as I can